Hello, and welcome to Rise of the False Gods book study. I'm so glad that you're here to join me. And we really got kind of a quandary tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to take a chance on going significantly over and getting everything in this piece that I want to get in, or going under like I did last night time wise, and not getting everything I want in. So, ooh, what a tough decision. So, all we're going to be able to do is kind of get going and see what happens. Again, if this is the first time you're seeing one of the videos, or if you've missed some, do go to YouTube. Also, remember to share, like, and subscribe. That way, you never miss a thing. Alrighty, well, today, well, I hope you had a good day. I had a crazy day. I do the newsletter for the campground, and winter's coming, so we have a recipe. Everyone loves the recipes that we put in our newsletter. And today, we made 3 recipes because we're not going to want to be out there in, December and January and February, freezing. So today was a beautiful day here in Connecticut. So we did some crazy cooking, just finished a minute ago, and I'm so glad you can't see the rest of this place with the cooking stuff all over. I'll have to clean that up before I go to bed. But I'm not going to waste any more time because we got to get going. And do remember, questions are always welcome. I may not be able to answer them until after, when I see them after the study. If they come up during, that's fine. I'll grab whatever I can do quickly. So tonight we're talking about the dogma and doctrine of false gods. Now, both dogma, and I'm going to be reading, and I'm reading from the top of page 68. Both doctrine and dogma are teachings of a belief system. Dogma is considered infallible, having come directly from God or Jesus. Dogma is not open to a dispute. The dogma, or unchangeable aspect of the cult of false gods, is itself separation. God has laws, false gods have lies. Why do we listen to them? Mammon and Baal pulls us down by their allure. We think they are our good, but it's false good. It's not real good. It's like the force of gravity binding us to the earthly realm. This occurs on an individual and collective level. Sometimes it's called a word you've heard a lot of lately, a herd effect. It's also called group think. When a bunch of people all start thinking the same way, for any number of reasons. But do you remember when, your parents would say, oh, are you going to run with that crowd? If they jump off the Brooklyn Bridge, are you going to jump off too? After all, everybody's doing it. Well, the phrase, everybody's doing it, is one of the primary lies of the false gods. They try to minimize what we're really doing when we look at a false sense of our good, because it will not last. Okay. Individual expression is compromised as people fall victim to what's happening now. We get a false sense of what's important, what's meaningful, what we desire, what we want. False gods make what is important unimportant, and what is unimportant important. It's crazy. The more, though, you're awake. See, you're here, you're watching this because you're awake. And you're not as susceptible to the false gods. And if you pick up one thing here, one thing there, and start to practice that in your daily life, you're going to find things are just really looking up. An ego craving of young people today is to be a celebrity. Now, again, I wrote this book in 2015. And things have changed, but they've like accelerated into a more senseless area. I had written, an ego craving in young people today is to be a celebrity. They don't realize that true fame is earned. It's not given. Those people that you look at that are fabulous singers and dancers and performers and actors, they worked hard for that. We want to just step into it. Anybody can achieve infamy, and that's what a lot of people are doing as well. They're sensationalists. They do things that are outrageous. And because sometimes karma takes a while to get back, it doesn't appear they're paying a price for what they're doing. But believe me, ultimately they will. There is the influence of the false gods on the collective. Here's a couple of examples. And okay, so I'm going to be real honest with you. Tonight I'm probably going to, I've been doing a lot lately. I'm going to probably annoy you or make you want to argue with me. And here's the deal. When you become very grounded in your beliefs, it doesn't matter whether somebody disagrees with you. My job is not to change anybody else. My job is to present my thoughts for your consideration. Take it or leave it. It's okay. I did not write this book lightly. I wrote it after decades, actually a lifetime of thinking about things, weighing things out. And so I hope that take what I'm saying, ponder it, roll around in your head, and if you don't agree with it, toss it out, okay? That's perfectly okay. Now I'll get into the area where I'll probably annoy you, and that's okay. If you have to, turn it off, but I pray you won't. Just think about these things. There are television programs like Keeping Up with the Kardashians, 16 and Pregnant, My Super Sweet 16. It is a false sense of importance, of success and personal worth. It is fake. It is not real. It is a false god. The ego is telling you to follow false gods. Keeping up with the Kardashians means you have to have a lot of money that you can spend any way you want. I don't recall, actually I don't watch the show because frankly I don't care to keep up with the Kardashians or anybody else, whoever it is. Now, I'm not going to lie, I have moments sometimes when I think about my very humble lifestyle and my way of living and the type of money I have and what I do with it. I tend to be prudent and frugal. And but sometimes when, other people are flashing their wonderful or their fame or whatever, there's that piece here that goes, maybe I would want that. But I really don't. I never watched it either. No, they're not good role models, as Cheryl says. Then there's 16 and Pregnant. I don't know if that's on anymore. For a while it was very popular, and young girls were so impressed by the show, they were going out and getting pregnant to see if they could get on the show. They're 16. Their frontal lobe, whatever it is, has not yet fully developed, and they are not aware of the consequences of the actions they take. Then we have My Super Sweet 16. I saw this up close and personal when I was living with my son during the winters on Long Island. And what these people spent to give a 16-year-old a birthday party was just shocking. It was shocking. And then we say, oh, well, but everybody in the family has to work because, we don't have enough money. So you're away from your family. You don't have enough money because you're spending it on a flippin' sweet 16 party that costs over $10,000. Are you hearing me? Over $10,000 for a 16-year-old birthday party. You know what? Big poo-poo deal. You got to be 16. Whoop-de-doo. Yes, have a party for graduation. You graduated. Have a party for something to celebrate. Yes, every birthday is to be celebrated. But the Super 16 television program of excess is what made other kids want to have that. And then it became competitive. And then they're having it at big fancy ballrooms and hiring bands. And you know what? What then do you have to look forward to? I want to celebrate true success. I don't want to just celebrate because I had a 16th birthday. I don't think I even had a party on my 16th birthday. I don't doubt that my mother got me a cake. My mother made me a cake. My mom's a great cook. And, but I did not. It's such a party. I just can't think. We have gone over the line of intelligence. Okay. This is a dangerous type of idol worship because what are we worshiping? With the Kardashians, with a girl who gets pregnant at 16, with a girl that has a Super 16 party. What are we celebrating? What are we looking at? What are we worshiping? Which means giving worth to. It is idol worship because we're worshiping an illusion. We're worshiping something that is not valid. Now, see, and that was in 2015. Now, in 2020, we have YouTube idols. You can make, if you put your mind to it, you can make all kinds of money on YouTube. You probably noticed when you're watching a YouTube show, it gets interrupted by commercials. Well, if you keep watching that commercial, the person whose video it is going to make money on it. Plus, people can get donations. The amount of money I see people making on YouTube is stunning. And sometimes they earn it. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's just because there was a very young girl. I don't even know if she was old enough to drink. I saw it one day on what happens is if you're watching a video on YouTube and it ends, it just goes on to the next video. So it was a young girl who was drunk shopping. I think I mentioned that when I was doing my other series, my Corona confinement series. She was drunk shopping. I don't know that she was even 21, but she would sit there and every so many minutes she'd have a shot of alcohol and shop. And then she would see the next day what she had bought in her drunken state. Well, is that something that's worth money? But she makes money from it, okay? Not only that, you get to think, oh, I wish I could do that. Maybe I can do that. There are educational things. There are fun things. There's a lot to offer. But what are we giving worth to? Are we worshiping or giving worth to false gods such as ego, money, sensual pleasure? Yes, sensual pleasure is good, but like anything else, it has to be used rightly. Okay. I'm going to push because I've only been on for like 15 minutes. So I'm going to push to get through the lies of the false gods. So I'm going to try to be relatively timely without rushing through it. But they're so important, I don't want to break it up in the middle. So, Mammon and Baal, which is materialism and carnality, ego, sensuality, that they tell us lies about what is our highest good. When I say they're not entities, they are states of consciousness of the lower mind, the very human to base mind. We are in a process of evolving and growing. if the intellect is impaired in any way, as the girl who is shopping drunk, if you're having stress, drugs, alcohol, that makes us more susceptible to false gods. That's why it's important, especially in our challenging days these days, to eat healthy, get plenty of sleep, pray and meditate for peace of mind, journal, and have a gratitude list. These things are priceless in getting us through the very challenging times ahead. We have been challenged over the past number of years, but Lord willing, when I say Lord willing, if we say Lord willing, the law willing, which means as we align our will with the will of higher good, we have gotten stronger. And we have that strength for a reason. This is coming to a head. It's coming to a peak. And we want to be strong enough to face down the false gods of ego and the sensual nature and materialism. We can do this. It's not a woo-woo, scary religious thing, okay? It's living according to spiritual principle. The same principles that make wonderful things, that bring together music and arts and love and all that stuff, okay? So, I'm going to hop right into the lies of the false gods. The lies that I am presenting, I set up in the order that they would kind of relate to the 10 Commandments, okay? So, number one lie, money and power will make you happy. There's not enough to go around, so get what you can by any means. Exert your power regardless of fallout or consequences. This takes the form in so many ways. A lot of people think that, they get a credit card. Oh, now they got money. No, you don't. You have a credit card. And just because you show them the card and sign and you get to take all that stuff home doesn't mean you bought it. It means you borrowed money to take it home. Now you have to pay for it with interest. Remember we talked about the law of increase? Yep. So when you spend money that you don't have, your debt increases. It has interest. Okay. The next one. You're your own God. You don't need a God. Everything centers on you. There is no God. Religion is the opiate of the masses, as some say. You are separate and probably better than everyone else. You make your own rules. Rules are made to be broken. The world and the people in it are important to the degree they can serve you. These are the lies of false gods. All of these are not true. I'm not going to get into the religion spirituality thing because we've done that before. But I'm going to tell you that participating in a community of like-minded others, and I will say God-centered others, is a great source of strength and power. So I do believe that there's a very valid reason for religion and church. Yet, no religion and no church has all the answers. And there's a reason for that for another day. Okay, another lie. You are entitled. Your good is in this realm alone. You are free to consume and live for your own pleasures of the flesh. Money, power, and pleasure are yours for the taking. Manipulating others is a means of getting what you want. Use people and love things. Money is everything. It must increase at all times at any cost. You must have more stuff at cheaper prices. Now, let's get practical here. There's a lot of complaining about all the jobs that are being shipped to China, and that those companies Those big corporations are shipping their orders to China or Mexico or the Philippines or Vietnam because it's cheaper to produce. Those nasty people, well, that didn't just happen by chance. We, the people, want more stuff, cheaper stuff. More stuff, cheaper stuff. More stuff, cheaper stuff. We're not willing to pay the price for the craftsmanship and the good products that we want for products that are made here in the country. We want more stuff, cheaper stuff. The companies cannot give us the amount of stuff that we want at prices we will pay. So they send the jobs overseas where they can make more stuff, cheaper stuff that we will then buy. The laborer deserves his wages. You have to hear this. The laborer deserves his wages. I would rather have more quality stuff than more stuff, cheaper stuff, regardless of where it came from. And here's something by right of consciousness you really want to wrap your mind around. A lot of the things that we get from foreign countries come from sweatshops where people are grossly underpaid. Sometimes children are doing the work and they're not able to run and play like regular children because they're scraping to make 30 cents an hour. So that we could have more stuff, cheaper stuff. So before we go blaming anybody else, we have purchasing power. We can say, I'm going to buy that. We can say, I don't really need that. We can say, I want something really worth my money. I want something that's going to last. You know, I want something that hands have touched, that have put their artistry and their love and their care into. You can have a bazillion bowls that come from China or Mexico or wherever. Or you can have a beautiful set of hand-turned wooden bowls, or, bowls that cost more, that they're more durable, that they're going to last longer. Which do you prefer? We have so many storage sheds. Why? People want more stuff, cheaper stuff. They don't even use the stuff. They got to put it in a storage shed. If you're not moving somewhere or waiting to move into a house and you got to put yourself in storage, you have to ask yourself, is that really worth it? I already paid for all this stuff. Now I'm paying for a place to hold it. Think about this when you think about your financial situation. Whew. Guess I went off on a toot on that. And that I'm pointing at the false gods. You are entitled to anything and everything you want. How you get it is not your concern. Nobody's the boss of you. You exercise your personal power. Designer labels matter, and you must have the best of everything. A designer label is very nice, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get a very high quality piece of clothing at a lesser price. Just saying. Now here's one that is, it just breaks my heart. There is no time to rest. You must have things, lots of things, better things, more things than anyone else. There is nothing more important than doing what you have to do to get more things, more stuff, more prestige, go more places. Rest is for sissies. Stop or slow down and someone will get ahead of you. Acquire, accumulate, consume. Work now, make money, and buy stuff later. You can spend time with your family later. Really? If you're still alive. I am 75 and still alive. I'm going strong and I pray it stays that way. And over all these 75 years, I have worked hard. I have worked 2 jobs. I have worked 3 jobs, living under an illusion that I needed more or different than what I had. I can't go back and get that time with my family that I missed, but I can spend as much quality time with my family as I can, even if those relationships are on my portal or YouTube or whatever. Okay. I didn't finish it. This is still on this one. Being a stay-at-home parent is not possible. You need money and stuff. Money is a requirement for happiness, and that is BS. Money's necessary for survival, and having a little extra to have fun with is cool. But as far as putting money before God, before your family, before your own life, before taking care of your life, is not a good thing. Believe me when I tell you, I've been there. You owe nothing to anybody. You did not ask to be born. That was your parents' choice. They're grown-ups and responsible for themselves. You can't afford to take care of them, nor your sisters or brothers. It's none of anyone's business how you got where you are. What you had to do to get there is not important. Ugh. We are all connected. We have to know that. And what we did to get what we have, if it's not standing on a foundation of integrity, it's not worth having. The price you paid was way too high for what you got. I'm going to move on, okay? So I'm going to run over. I hope that's okay. Let's give a run for getting through all these. It's a dog-eat-dog world. You must protect your stuff and the people you love at any cost. Now, when I'm saying protect your stuff and the people you love at any cost, that people you love piece, that's very often a sales gimmick. It's telling you you need to spend this money so your family will be safe. Then you're so busy paying for what you bought to make your family safe, you don't have time to be with them anyway. An eye for an eye is a good rule to live by. Lives of others matter little. Poor and hungry did it to themselves. Shoot first, ask questions later. People from other countries are our enemies. They have stuff we want, like oil. Don't negotiate. Go get it. The bigger the guns, the bigger the bombs, the safer we are. And I call BS on that too. The more guns, the more bombs, the bigger the bombs, the greater danger everyone on the planet is on. Do you know, you've seen those videos they show of Kim Jong-un shooting off those test missiles? There's nuclear stuff in there. There's all kinds of, it's bad. And where do they go? In the ocean, where the fish that you want to eat live. It's just beyond comprehension how ignorant we can be. Okay. Moving on to marriage. I'm getting into real dangerous territory, so buckle your seatbelt, or if you gotta leave, you gotta leave. Marriage is like a car. If it isn't working, get out and get yourself another one. If it gets old, get out and get yourself another one. Vows are just words. If you see greener pastures, go for it. Better yet, why even bother getting married? Like they say, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Get the best part of the deal if you get divorced. Kids are tough. They'll be fine. There are ways to make unwanted pregnancies go away. Cheating doesn't matter if you don't get caught. Now, those are 3 bombs that I just dropped there. Get the best part of the deal if you get divorced. Kids are tough. They'll be fine. No, they won't. No, they won't. And when you say that, is it not okay to get divorced if you have a bad marriage? Let's always go back when we're trying to figure out these challenging questions. Let's always go back to the Sabbath, because Jesus explained about how the Sabbath worked. It's for the highest good of everybody. If in a marriage, if you cannot make it work, divorce may be necessary. But if there are things, if you're not doing your best to make it work, you are ripping the rug out from underneath the entire unit that is a family. And you want to know another reason why we have financial troubles? Because people are supporting too many households. Please don't get mad at me. It happens. I was divorced twice, but I got to tell you something. A lot of this stuff that I'm spewing, I learned through the pain and suffering of the divorces that I went through. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, I did the best I could and tried my best to make it work. So that I have leaning on me. But I will tell you, it still pulled the rug out from under the security that my children once felt. Yes, Dr. Phil is right. It's better for kids to be from a broken home than from a dysfunctional home filled with anger and disrespect. So what's the real answer? Try to bring the respect. And another answer, vows are not just words. If you're going to say vows, say them as if you mean for them to last, and be willing to do whatever you have to do. And if it doesn't last, and you did your very best, sometimes you have to just let go. I've seen too many kids suffer. There are ways to make unwanted pregnancies go away. Yeah, there are. And I'm going to go back to the balance, to the Sabbath. What things are important there? I am, this is tough. I know this is the first time I've ever said this as a minister to, as a unity minister publicly, if this is about as publicly as you can get. I am pro-life. That doesn't mean that there are times when abortion would be called for, okay? I don't have the answers, but I do believe that, again, if we handle ourselves more carefully, more integrity, not listening to the carnal nature that says 3 dates and you have sex. That is, you can see it in all kinds of movies. That's the rule, the unwritten rule. But the thing is, when you stay in integrity and value yourself and value your body and value the children that you will bring forth, you will be able to give them a strong family that can stay together. That doesn't mean there are not a lot of blended families working. Please understand me. But just because there are a bunch of blended families working does not mean that should be the fallback, if we don't like the way it's going. A part of the whole reason we're in this is to learn. And we're not going to learn our lessons if we keep throwing them over because they're inconvenient and uncomfortable, right? Sometimes we have to take a breath, hunker down, and do the right thing. Sometimes it's tempting to be gossipy. We want people to think we're important. We're in bare false witness. They'll think you're important and in the news. If you tell your boss your coworker isn't doing their job right, maybe they'll get fired and you can get the position. That would never really be your position because you didn't earn it, you took it. You can make up information on your resume. You sure as heck can make up information on your resume, but when you're trying to do that job and you're a horrible failure, don't blame your boss. Don't blame your company. Blame yourself because you're the one that lied on your resume. Honesty doesn't matter if you don't get caught. Honesty matters, and true character, as they say, is what you do when nobody watches, when nobody can see what you're doing. If you say it often enough, loud enough, and with conviction, people will believe anything. It's true, but it doesn't make it right. Oh, it's only just a little white lie. little white lies build up, and they make for big, awful backlash of things you don't want. You can make a lot of money from an accident you had. Don't you see that at least once a day on a TV commercial? You can make an accident happen and sue the innocent party. These are all the lies of the false gods. And if you believe and live this way, are you going to go to hell? You'll probably create a hellish life. You won't even know why, because you're not paying attention to the causes you're sending forth and the effects that you will reap. Maybe not even in this lifetime. Maybe in another one. In Unity, we teach that thoughts are things. False gods includes thoughts of denial of anything greater than the manifest realm. If we think this is it, that's all it is, that's all she wrote, we are deceiving ourselves. Jesus taught us, do not judge by appearance, but use righteous judgment. We can build a bigger believing. We can create bigger and better and more beautiful and peaceful lives if we open our minds and hearts to receive. We work against false gods when we follow the teaching and lift up our eyes, which is to turn our focus from selfish concerns to spirit, to God. Remember, false gods are a belief in a false sense of good, that something material or sensual in the world can give us lasting peace, health, happiness, and security. And that's individually or collectively. Ran over a little bit. I hope you liked it. I hope you didn't get too testy with me with some of the things I said. But you know what? I gotta speak my truth. And that's what I'm here for. Tomorrow night, our truth is going to be about tap dancing on the slippery slope. Sounds like fun? I'll see you then. Take care.